It says we're live.
Should I lie back down?
Yeah, you lie back down. You could.
Should I lie back down? Pretend you wake me up.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name's Dan, and this. Hang on. This is Lee. And we're here live on.
It's early in the morning in Australia, I might add, and I'm in bed and in my pajamas.
Yeah.
And this is my. What is this? The 5th week of Armageddon haircut.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
I haven't been able to be to a.
You look a bit anime.
Well, it's not too bad. Yeah, from this angle, actually, it's come up pretty good. But if you go to the other angle, because this should be shaved, and it's just sticking out everywhere. And there's
you need to get yourself a trimmer. Get yourself a trimmer.
Well, Trace won't do it. She won't do it. No, Trace won't do it. Well, I wanted to shave my head again, and Trace she's anti it. She doesn't like it.
Why not?
She thinks it makes me look old or criminal, and I'm like, it does not make me look like a criminal because you've seen actual criminals.
And has she seen the grey in your beard? Because that makes you look more old than anything else.
Well, if that's all you've got, that's the thing. If you're only showing your grey in your beard, yeah, you can look a little bit old. I did one of those, what is it, Face app or something, whatever it is, the thing which makes you older, the photo on your app. You know, so that the Chinese or the Russians can steal your
facial recognition data.
Yeah. So I did that because everyone else was, and like it said, age me up type of thing. I was looking at it going, it hasn't done anything, and it's like, that's no good. It's kind of, do you really want us to age you any further? So but yeah. So are you good, sir? Where are you recording from? Is this in the loft?
This is in the superb loft. Look, I'll give you a quick tour. Look, there's all the crap in the corner. Here's all my paints. There we go. There's a picture of me someone drew for me. Isn't that nice? Better than all the pictures you drew of me before. And that's me. Look, that's me. Now, I'm in my loft. I had my loft last time we talked. Yeah. I've had the loft for a couple of years.
Yeah. But it wasn't finished. It was
right.
It was still being finished. So last time we talked. So it's been a while actually.
It has. It's been a year or so. I nearly emailed you the other day with a new podcast idea.
A lot happens in a year, doesn't it?
A little bit happens in a year. Yeah. We suddenly on.
We almost went to World War III.
Yeah.
We started the year off with World War III on the cards. Then Australia caught fire, and then a little thing called coronavirus kicked in.
Indeed.
The world has significantly changed.
Someone put it recently, and I quite liked it. It's the zombie apocalypse on easy mode. So it was kind of saying we can't even handle the zombie apocalypse on easy mode is what they were saying. But yeah, and
it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it is weird. Well, Australia are doing a lot better than the UK.
So we are flattened the curve, as the saying goes. Which is good. We were talking about this before, but it's the virtues of being, I guess, not a densely packed island.
Yes. And also reacting a bit quicker.
And also having a bunch of people. We did. Well, we did. Like we acknowledged that it was a pandemic first, and then we kind of did nothing about that for a couple of weeks, and then we went hell bent for leather. And it's been we've only got what I'm about to do myself geography wise, 6 states, I think. I'm not going to even count them. We haven't got many states, but they've all got border crossings now and stuff. It like all the borders are closed in Australia.
Yeah.
So traveling from Queensland to New South Wales, which is some of the towns share there's a red line down the middle of the town type of thing. But they've shut it down.
Really? So you can't even travel from state to state? Wow.
Yep. And here in Tasmania, so anyone who follows me would know that it was a bit of a journey getting down here. because I was in the process of moving from Brisbane, which is not the top, but towards the top of Australia, down to Hobart, which is at the bottom of Australia, in another island off the bigger island. And it was a disaster because flights were being cancelled.
Yeah.
I think I had 3 flights cancelled on me, it wound up having to.
I was going to say, it caused me shit tons of anxiety. I was visible. I was really sweating, and my heart was going. And every morning, I looked at the phone to check if you got there or not. And oh no, it's been cancelled. Oh fucking hell!
Yeah.
I was.
It was bizarre. I literally at some point I thought maybe I'm going to have to get on a boat somewhere, get a yacht or something, and hide away. And you know what's funny? Because it's interesting because I tried that. Full credit to him. I full shout out to this dude from Melbourne to Hobart. He got in his boat and he was going to try and run the border patrol, and he actually just had boat problems. Whatever boat problems are, I don't know what they are.
I don't know.
So he got turned around, poor guy.
Yeah.
So the first flight was cancelled, which was just the normal flight from Brisbane, and then I booked a flight through another company that said, "Yep, we'll get you on a connecting flight," and blah blah blah. And the day after this flight was really so. Say this first flight was, say, I don't know, $300 for argument's sake, and the next flight for the next day was like $900.
Right.
And it was like, what the heck's going on there? And I worked it out because you actually because there's no smarts behind it. It was just all automatic. So what happened was it defaulted to the only flight which was available, which was from Western Australia, which is a 5-6 hour flight across the country. And so you're going to go via Western Australia, then back down to Melbourne, then to Hobart. It was insane. So then half of that flight got cancelled. So the connecting flight got cancelled. So I had to get to Melbourne, and I was really terrified that I was going to have to spend the night in the airport. And I'm really glad I didn't, because the airport was terrifyingly empty.
Yeah, super.
And I assume, because there's no rules about the sleeping in an airport thing, as far as I'm aware. It's a bit of a given, kind of an. Pardon?
Tom Hanks is allowed to do it.
Yeah, Tom Hanks. Yeah, well, that's what I was imagining. But the thing was, he had lots of people around him. That's the thing. I think it's if it's a 24-hour airport, then it's a kind of a bit of a everyone just kind of winks and nods and carries on, and no one kind of says anything. But when there's no one there, if you're the only person sleeping in the airport, I suspect that someone might come up and say, "Come on, man, what are you doing?" But I was lucky to get into a hotel, which is, basically on their airport campus. And that was really good. And they were very excited to see someone. They were very, very excited. I came in and he's like, yeah, I said, because I came in early. And I said, oh, look, I'm sorry, I know I'm early. He's like, don't even worry about it. The room's ready to go. And then, they were really cool. And the next morning, it was really I came downstairs to get some coffee from the coffee machine, and the lady they had to close their breakfast service because of coronavirus. And I kind of came downstairs and I was looking at the coffee machine, working it out. And she goes, "Oh, are you down here to grab a coffee?" And I said, "Yeah." She goes, "I'll make you one." And I said, "Oh, no, you don't have to do that type of thing." And blah, blah. She goes, "No, seriously, I will make you one." And she goes off and rattles around in which would normally be an open kitchen, and gets me a cup of coffee, which was just and it was really hard because it was like it's one of those things where emotionally you're so drained isn't probably the right word. You're so amped up, emotions are so high, and just little acts of kindness, bringing tears to your eyes in front of strangers, and it's just like. It's just a cup of coffee, but it was, any sign of, you have no idea how hard this is. Because that entire night, I'm sitting there waiting for this flight to be cancelled. Um,
And that was realistically could have been
uh,
the last one for a long time as well, couldn't it? Really? Yeah.
yeah. This is the thing. Like, if anyone asks, why would you do it? Like, why didn't you just stay put? And it's like, well, first off, I didn't really have anywhere to live. Um, like, I was staying with my father-in-law, but we had all these weird kind of rules, and he's also, he's a bit older type of thing, so I don't want to, I didn't want to kind of put him at any risk or anything. But also, I was looking at 6 months without seeing Trace,
Mm-hmm.
like flat out, 6 months type of thing. So I was like, oh, to hell with that. It's already been 14. So yeah, no, that's not with this. The timing could be worse. So anyway, yeah, getting on that flight was very emotional. It was very weird, and what it also did was, it was, as I was walking down, like, so many people were there. Like, I'm one of these people who show up at the airport 3 days beforehand
Yeah.
and set up a campsite and try and book my, and try and convince them to take my bags off my hands and stuff like that. Trace is a 15 minutes before the flight type of person. I have to be there a long
I'm with you,
time
Lee.
before the
I'm
flight.
with you.
So I jump. So I'm there really. I'm there the moment you can put your bags in. I'm actually there a little bit earlier than that. And I was not alone. Like, I think everyone who was on that flight was there 3 hours beforehand. And so we all sat around this empty terminal, which is, Melbourne and Sydney are our big airports, so they're kind of our big international airports. And I'm walking through what is essentially a shutdown airport, which was insane. And looking out on the airfield, they have all the planes just parked. It's a car park for planes. That is the weirdest sight to see, is just a sea of planes, like one of those old kind of army disposal kind of, airstrips. And so, yeah, anyway, we all sat around for like, 3 hours, all spaced out nicely, just chatting. And there was quite a few people discovered, about to get on the plane, that they were about to go into 14 days of mandatory isolation, not at home, in a government-run facility, which is just basically a 3 or 4 star hotel that they've commandeered and are running at 3 days' notice, I might add. So, as we all know, when the government rushes to do something, it always works out well. And yeah, so some people discovered there and then, like before they got on the plane, guess what? You're not going home. You've got 14 days, kind of thing.
Not in a caravan like old.
Then we landed.
Yeah.
No, that's right. Yeah, and that would have been like, we were all set up. Like, bless Trey, she had she bought like a little outdoor setting, so that because she knew that I wouldn't be allowed kind of outside the, like, we have this little apartment here in Hobart, and she knew that I wasn't going to be allowed outside of the yard. So she was like, "You're going to want sun and blah blah blah." So she got me a little table and stuff. And then, obviously with the plane cancellations, that just put us over the deadline by a day or something. It was ridiculous. And so, yeah, the police knocked on the door. The police actually knocked on the plane door before it opened. It was insane. I've never seen anything so bizarre in my life. Is so quaint
seriously
as a police officer.
But
knocking on the door though of the plane, looking through the little window. He goes, hello. I was waiting for him to ask for the bloody. I was waiting for him to ask for a rego, and ask her if she knew how fast she.
You know what speed you were going? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, he gets and he reads us the riot act, and he also says, if anyone thinks they're not going to be able to actually. If anyone thinks that they're not going to be able to comply with this, do you have any questions? Anyone here? So legally, they had to say, "Is anyone here think they're not going to be able to comply with this?" Fully not expecting anyone to put their hand up, and then half the plane puts their hand up, and the police officer's like, "Okay, we'll deal with this when we get out," because you don't. Yeah, it wasn't asking us nicely if we would like to.
No, well, what we'll do,
he was saying.
What will I'll just say hello to David and Cthulhu, who have said hello in the comments. Sorry, Lee's talking about his his flight from Brisbane to Tasmania on the last plane leaving, as he rolled under the door like Indiana Jones. Yeah. So what was the alternative?
It's a little bit felt a lot like that.
It did. Well, it felt like that from my end.
I don't know, actually. Yeah, I don't know, actually. I suspect because the plane took off, so the plane didn't lay over at all.
Yeah.
I suspect if you said no thanks, I'd rather not comply with your very polite suggestion. Yeah, they would have said, "We'll stay in your seat. You're going back," type of thing. I don't know. I don't know if anyone did that. I do know that. So you could make an application to be an essential traveller, and essential travellers are allowed just to kind of, which, to be honest, my only criticism of all of it is the fact that they were all on the same plane as me, and they were all at the same airport as me, and they were all in Melbourne beforehand, and they just walked through the front doors type of thing. And I'm like, okay, well, I get that they're essential, but if your concern is about spreading the virus, that feels like an arbitrary kind of thing.
Well, I'm an essential worker.
You've got an important job.
Yeah, I'm an essential worker.
Yeah, that's right.
If I get ill, I have to stay at home. I can't be going to work, and I'm not that bloody essential. You don't want to be spreading it around. So, that seems a bizarre.
So anyway, biosecurity kind of barely kind of looked at us and kind of said, "Oh, look, you fill out your form and stuff like that, and get on the plane, get on the bus," and then the bus took us to a hotel where the police escorted us to our doors, like literally escorted us to the door of each room, and said, "This is where you are now. For 14 days, you're not allowed to cross this line," and that is literally what happened then. 14 days, not one person was allowed in the room, and I wasn't allowed out of the room. And it's so weird on the 14th day to walk out of that room, and the hallway that I had only seen by kind of hanging out the door type of thing, completely different. Like, I thought the layout was 100% different. Would be a terrible prisoner of war to try and give you any information, because I was, did you hear any bumps in the road on the way? It's like, I'm pretty certain that reception is literally 2 meters away from my front door, and it was like down a hallway, down another flight of stairs, and I'm like, "Where's the flight of stairs come from?" It was bizarre. I had no idea. It was a weird experience, and it was a weird emotional experience. And it was pretty unpleasant for the first couple of days because the food situation was awful. I'm a pretty picky eater as it is normally, but not being able to actually, not being able to choose anything, that was the biggest issue for me. Like, if you gave me 2 shitty meals and the choice between them, I probably would have been able to kind of deal with it a little bit more. But there was no choice whatsoever. It was like, "Oh, you'll be getting, Pepsi Max," and I'm like, "Oh, I like Pepsi Max," but then the next day it's like, "Here's a solo drink," and it's like, not as keen. And then one of the days where I got pumpkin soup for lunch, and I'm like, "Yes, I love pumpkin soup." I'm thinking to myself, if the lady next door hates pumpkin soup, she's stuffed for lunch, because this is all there is. So, it was weird. It was a weird experience, and one that, I'm not going to criticize from a point of view of, we have some of the best numbers in the world right now.
Yeah. Well, exactly. So, this incredibly rigid regime has kept your country very safe, it feels, and now you'll be able to come out a lot quicker than the UK will be. As I was saying to you, I think the UK was in the 3rd wave, and I think Australia was in the 4th. If that makes any sense. But we just.
Well, we were watching. Yeah, no, we were definitely. Well, we were definitely watching other countries.
Yeah.
So, and UK was one of the countries, and I think it was always said we were about 2 weeks behind you.
Whereas we were 2 weeks.
Had we followed the same path as you?
Yeah.
It's a hard, because and again, I think things are slowly, but you see tiny little glimmers of the way things were. But I can't really wrap my head around kind of what changes this will be long term.
Yeah.
And for me, it's really weird too, because like I'm on record when coronavirus first came out, I'm like, whatever. The flu's a hell of a lot scarier than coronavirus, and it probably still is, to be honest. In that it kills a lot more people, but in general. But
well, I think only because of the precautions that have been taken.
Misread it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, and in fairness, that's true. But this kind of like we get our daily. I don't know what it's like in the UK. We get our daily number update, which is kind of depressing and a bit ghoulish. But they talk about our numbers, and of course, our numbers compared to your numbers. Like I think we're at 80 something deaths completely.
80 something. We're on 20,000. We've passed 20,000 recently. Yeah. Yeah.
80 something. I can't remember the exact number. Yeah. And that's what I mean. It's like, so it's hard not to kind of go, oh, was it really as big a deal? And it's like, well, yeah, it was, obviously, comparing it to Italy and
well, it could have been a bigger deal, couldn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah, 100%. You're like, I don't think it's reasonable to criticize the response at this stage. Like it's all very well and good in 12 months' time to sit back and go, oh, we should have done that, and it's like, yeah, but no one knew. Like, we were just going off what was happening in the rest of the world, and we just happened to move quicker because we were further away. So it's very hard to kind of say, I'm not a big fan of our Prime Minister, but I'm also not throwing rocks at the poor guy right now because I wouldn't want this job.
Well,
to make those decisions and to make those calls. And we've had some really interesting kind of things come out of it where it's like a guy was arrested for or fined for sitting on a park bench eating a kebab. I assume you call them kebabs in
kebabs.
England.
I like a good kebab, me.
Yeah, well, don't go out here in New South Wales, or in New South Wales, don't go running. Don't go running and grab a kebab and stop at a park because you get fined. And what was funny is they asked the Western Australian Premier, because we've been getting premiers have been at the forefront of this because a lot of the legislation has to be at a state level to ban things. Well, in conjunction with the federal. But the Western Australian, they asked the Western Australian Premier, said, oh, look, is this what's going to happen in Western Australia? Are you going to get fined for going out and getting a kebab if you go for a run? And he's like, I don't know who gets a kebab when they go for a run. But and he just cracked up. He couldn't stop laughing. It was like this delightful moment amongst all this kind of ridiculousness. And then someone, like I think one of the other premiers was very gung-ho, and he was like, they were saying, oh, can you go see your partner or your significant other? Yeah. And he's like, well, if it's not essential, no, you can't. So Victoria says no to love, and they asked the New South Wales police chief, is that the case in New South Wales? He's like, no, we see it as. So it was this kind of really weird kind of, one state you could go see your girlfriend, and in another state you couldn't.
You can't eat a kebab.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you can't eat a kebab. You're terrified to eat a kebab. Or at least go for, because, or shaking up your runs with a bit of a kebab stop. So
well, I know I
go
do.
for a jog.
I mean, I don't jog very far till.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I do. Yeah. I mean, when you see it, you just have to speed up a bit to get to it. So, David, so it's really interesting. It's just.
Yeah. I was just saying, David here is saying that the way people. What?
No, go. No, tell me what David's saying.
David is saying, the way people have been reacting to the pandemic here in the UK has made me ashamed to be British. But to be fair, I agree with him. But to be fair, I think that there's always been prats. And I think it's as long as the majority are being sensible, which I think they are. I think we're getting a bit tired of the lockdown stuff now. I see a lot more people on the streets than I did before. The traffic's gone up as well. I mean, I've been driving around today. I'm out and about for work with my PPE on and the masks and all that kind of stuff. And I think people are getting fed up, and I think it's slowly easing off. But I don't know. It's going to have to ease off at some time. And we're coming down off the curve
here in Australia. Yeah.
But we're still getting 800 deaths a day.
Well, that's it. Well, see, we've got 80 something. So, it's interesting too, because here in Australia, it's like it's a very Australian thing to go, you can't do that. Fuck off! I'm going to do that. It's a very Australian thing. So when they kind of said, "Oh, look, everyone needs to social distance," and then we had footage from Bondi Beach of, thousands of people crammed into the beach going for a swim.
Yeah.
And they said, "Guys, what are you doing?" So now we have to close the beach, and then they started closing stuff, and they've closed kind of, everything. And they had to because people were being stupid. Whereas, you could say, "Oh, look, I should be able to sit on a park bench on my own, eating my kebab after my 4K run, and not be hassled by anyone because I'm not going to affect anyone doing that." And they can't do that because there'll be 50 guys show up with their kebabs.
Yeah,
This is the problem.
It is, yeah, and all these
but Australians are.
Sorry, the lag on this streaming
Australians
service
are going
great.
to crack. Yeah.
Kelly Beck, do you remember Kelly from the old days? Kelly,
yep.
She says she's in Michigan.
Kelly still hangs out. Yep.
Yeah, she does. I'm not sure if the whole world got to see all the idiots protesting at the Capitol. It's sad. I did get to see all those people protesting at the Capitol, and while the UK has got it bad, I do worry that the US is going to get it worse, to be honest.
I would have thought Australians would have cracked first.
Yeah.
I would have thought Aussies would have cracked first, because we don't like being told not to do stuff. And you can definitely see cracks forming of people kind of going, "I just need to get out. I need to go do something," or "I just want some normalcy." But to be already protesting, and I get it, because I think our response has been, and likewise to the UK too, I think some of the financial responses have been quite good as far as we're going to make sure that people aren't going to starve and blah blah blah, and we've got holes in that, of course, but they're definitely trying it. Whereas in the US, it's like I saw a video of a guy kind of ranting about it in the car, and he was saying like the $1,200 payment, it's not going to cover mortgages and et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, wow, how are you guys still charging mortgages? That's one of the first things that the banks here did, was like, okay, 3 months, we'll review it in 3 months again, but no remortgage payments. However, we still pay the interest, which is, but look, whatever type of thing from a household point of view. All of our mobile phone services and stuff like that aren't, they're not shutting anyone down if they don't pay their bill, all that type of stuff. Whereas in the US, apparently that's not the case, and I'm like, wow, that's
no. Well, it's
like $1,200. That could be your mortgage repayments.
Yeah, I mean, our government, which is incredibly right wing, has done some incredibly socialist things to keep the economy going, and it's very much. And they said this, and this is to their credit. They said we're not. Well, they might be supporting the big businesses, but we're not that interested in the big business. We're interested in the workers. That's who we're supporting. It's a bottom-up approach rather than a top-down approach, which is completely the way you're going to have to do it. Because, and bloody Richard Branson, and he's chuffing anyway. Whatever. I don't know if you've seen that. Richard Branson, who is a tax exile in the Caribbean and never pays any. He's asking for bailouts for his airline, and everyone's going, no, fuck off.
But it's not even his airline. This is the thing. It's like we didn't realize it until, of course, the airline got into trouble. But he's like 6%. He owns 6% of it. Like all these for us, it was a hard thing because they're saying to us they want X amount of $1 billion to bail them out, and we're looking at them going, well, hang on a second. There's the Singapore government. There's there's various different governments that are who actually own Virgin Australia, and for the government to be bailing them out, it seems a bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
Isn't that terrible? I just touched my nose and I was conscious of it.
Oh, it's fine. Well, you're in your own house. You can do what you want. Cthulhu says.
I do. I walk through the front door and I walk through the front door and I go after delousing and
yeah. Well, my
Cthulhu say, because I'm looking at my iPhone.
He's saying everyone will have to pay it back eventually, mind you, and that's true. And I think the the thing is how that gets paid back will be the differentiating thing between the kind of socialist values and the more right wing values and stuff. And so hopefully it'll be all right. But yeah. No, I've got my PPE, and my face is obviously too big for the face mask. So my mask perches here and keeps slipping down, which kind of defies all points. I've ended up having to sellotape it to my face. And I'm too fat for the apron.
What about the beard? What about?
No, it's not. It's not. We're not that. We're not that valued. It's not a.
Oh, right.
Whatever
Okay.
it's a paper and cotton wool jobby. It's more to protect the
right.
the people I'm seeing
The
rather
patients
than to protect me, I think. Although my sister-in-law's had it. She works with me these days. She's a psychologist, and she caught it off a patient who has subsequently died. She rang him up beforehand and said, "How are you feeling? Any symptoms?" Because that was our policy at the beginning. Any symptoms? If they said no, we went round without any PPE on. If they said yes, we went out round with PPE on.
Oh, okay.
Mainly because we didn't have that much PPE. And then he said, no, I'm fine. And she got round and he started coughing in her face. A week later, he's dead. And Lucy's feels like she's been kicked in the chest. I mean, she's a 30-year-old woman, so she wasn't at massive risk. But she was very unwell. She said she never felt that unwell before. It's a horrible thing. Night, David.
Well, it's apparently it's not very pleasant, apparently, so...
No. Well, I don't know. No, I don't think you want it really.
No. I think if you can avoid it. Well, see, I had swine flu, and it nearly killed me.
Really?
I got to. You know that thing where you get like a fever where it's so ridiculously high that you've lost kind of any reasoning at all, and so. Yeah, so my fever was so high at one stage, but the thing was, like, Tracy was going, "I think we need to take you to the hospital," and I'm like delirious, basically going, "No, just I don't feel." I'll watch you just need some Gatorade.
Yeah,
and so now, there was a couple of lessons that came out of that experience. Was your dad listen to the guy who's got like a however many 40-degree bloody temperature type of thing. I don't remember what it got up to. It got up to one of those ridiculous temperatures where it's like you can do some damage.
Yeah.
So, but it was so that was awful. So, but I was kind of like, even before this was all happening, I was kind of saying, well, look, from what I understand of it, it's pretty unpleasant, but screw it, I just give it to me, let it get out of the way, type of thing. I'll just write it out, and it's like, I'm kind of glad we didn't go ahead with that plan.
Well, I must admit, I did say at the beginning, I thought, well, I'd rather get it now, and then the hospitals aren't overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And then
that's what I said.
Yeah. But no.
Yeah, no, that's what I say. I'd like to go to the doctor and say, look, just check me out to say, can I physically survive it if it hits me? Right, give it to me. And as I said, I'm glad, because apparently it comes back too. Apparently you can show up as positive or something later on.
Yeah, apparently so. Apparently there's no evidence to show that having it once means you're immune to it in the future, which also doesn't bode well for a fucking vaccine either, does it? But
no,
not that I'm an expert in it.
My suggestion, but my suggestion in this whole thing is maybe we close those markets down. And maybe, I don't know.
I think it might be a good idea.
I realize that culturally, culturally, I realize that that they're important and stuff. But I kind of, what? Nah. Like SARS, swine flu, this thing. Maybe we just don't. Maybe we stop poking that bear. I think maybe you have to buy your squid frozen. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. Maybe your octopus can't be alive when you buy it. Maybe you're gonna have to take stuff to a fishmonger and actually have it, cleaned and such and stored correctly. I don't know. I'm not.
It will be a shift in the Chinese culture, though. 'Cause, I mean, I went to China and there were just live animals absolutely everywhere being sold for food. There were crabs in fridges just crawling all over each other, just being plucked out. It was just bizarre.
Well, but I think, there's a reason why the rest of the world kind of went, oh, we probably won't do that anymore. And it probably wasn't this, but this seems to be a pretty good case for not doing it.
I would have thought so.
Just as I say, in my very humble opinion, if you're doing something which causes lots of horrifying diseases that go around the world killing people, maybe don't. Yeah, it's like when you get like a new cordial brand, and you go, I like orange flavor normally, but I don't know what this brand is, so I'm just going to give it a try. And you drink it, and you go, that's disgusting. That is the most revolting thing, and it's making me cross-eyed. Oh, that's horrifying. Throw it out. Get rid of it. Don't keep drinking it. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
don't buy it again. Don't keep buying it thinking maybe it'll get better.
What I enjoy about that scenario, Lee, is the fact...
another brand.
The thing I enjoy about that scenario is when you taste it, you go, oh, that's revolting. Try that. And the other person goes, oh, yeah, all right, yeah. Oh, yeah, no, that is revolting.
Yeah. That's revolting. Well, let's just buy another one. Yeah, exactly. So that's my simplistic way of explaining to who, if they're wondering.
If they're after the advice. Yeah.
If they're after any advice from the general public, treat it like a cordial flavor you can't stand. Don't keep buying it. Don't keep buying it. It's not going to get any better. You're not going to like it anymore now. It's not going to happen. Go back to the one you like.
Sounds good to me. Good to me.
Yeah, no, I feel it's a strong advice for everyone. We can't even talk about movies, sir. They shut the movies down.
Shut the movies down, yeah. Well, I had, as I say, I nearly messaged you the other day. I've had this idea. I don't know if I've talked to you about it before, about this Spotify podcast.
Yeah.
Well, previously it wasn't...
You're trying to work it out.
Yeah, previously it wasn't possible because you couldn't... my idea is to record a podcast and then have it in a playlist with music tracks that you're listening to. And previously, Spotify wouldn't let you mix podcasts playlists with music playlists, so it was impossible. But now they do. You see, they've changed that recently. So I was trying to work out. Well,
right.
Was that something I'd want to? I don't think it'd be anything with big audiences or anything, but I just wonder if it'd be interesting. But then I think because you like your film music, don't you? Martello.
Yeah, if it hasn't been like I couldn't listen to anything new, that would throw me out.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. I thought about having a kind of two people stuck in the 90s try and learn new music type podcast because I think I said to you at the time.
Song or something.
Yeah, at the time I watched Captain Marvel.
A Billie Eilish song, and I'm sitting there going, "What is that about?"
That's it. K-pop.
She's going to make out with who?
We've got an Italian person here, Matteo Randi. He says, "Evening, guys. In Italy, we're starting to see a tiny light at the end of the tunnel. Some categories will get back to work in May the 4th. Unfortunately, the virus got in a lot of unequipped retirement homes. Yeah, we're having a significant problem with retirement homes ourselves. They say that we're going to have a significantly higher death toll because the deaths in retirement homes aren't really being counted at the moment. What kind of category?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, isn't it? Oh, I was going to say that's crazy that how people are counting. Like we as I said, we've only got 80, so we're counting everything. If it vaguely even shows up, we count it.
It's not the purpose. They're not purposely discounting them. It's just that the most up-to-date stats are the ones that come from the hospitals, and then the other ones get added on later. So, for example, this today we had 800 deaths announced, but 400 of those were for previous weeks. So,
right.
So it's a thing.
Well, you might like this. I don't know if it's made the news over there. I don't know if other countries are thinking about it. But the Australian government last night launched a new app to combat the coronavirus. Now, it's exciting, this app. Think about any other time throughout history had someone pitched this app to you. Yeah. Thought that'd be a good idea from the government, I might add. So what the app does is that it tracks your phone and your location 24/7. And what it does is it actually tracks everyone around you
Connect to it by Bluetooth,
24/7.
don't they? Yeah.
And well, not even Bluetooth. I think just I don't know how that. No, it wouldn't be by Bluetooth because your security settings would override that. No, it's the app. Just you plug it into your phone and it just goes
Right.
bananas from there. It says it uses your GPS to work it out from there. So the government's going to come out and say, yeah, this is not compulsory. However, if you don't bloody use it, it's going to be compulsory. It has got a mixed response, as you might imagine.
Yeah. Well,
in black and white,
it's dodgy, isn't it? They've got a similar one in the UK. They're talking about a similar one in the UK, but they're working with Google and Apple to override the Bluetooth stuff. If you've got this app, and so it will ping the person's Bluetooth on a. I think it's like what's that encryption software where you send them the thing and then they password protect, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Some kind of thing like that. And then it will.
It's one of these kind of.
Yeah.
It's one of these kind of nightmares for kind of people as far as like if you suggested this a year ago, people would have been like we've had a lot of very high profile government IT projects kind of fall over a bit. So we had this kind of health website that you could sign up for. Well, you didn't sign up for, you had to opt out, which would share your kind of health information across places. But it was very, very dodgy as far as who could access that information and what the security was. And then they got hacked. And so everyone's kind of like, yeah, I'm not interested in that. So, you're not getting my information, even though on paper, in a utopian society, it sounds like a great idea. And this also, in a utopia, it sounds like a great idea of this idea of your device can tell you if you've been in contact with anyone who has the virus. I mean, that's what it's designed for. And in black and white, on a out of context, that sounds like a very logical, clever way of doing it. I have not downloaded the app yet, and I haven't kind of signed up for it yet.
No,
I'm not 100% sure I will.
I think I will, but mainly because, in fact, I might just do it through my work phone if nothing else, but mainly because of the job I do. Really, I'm
well,
very
the work phone would be not a bad idea. Actually, that's. But the problem is, if it doesn't, if this is where the issue comes in, if not enough people do it.
Yeah,
it's not worthwhile.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm torn on it. I just don't trust the government to handle the data well.
No, they won't handle the data well. There will be a leak at some point because that's just what happens.
But it's even, and it's like it's this argument of if you got nothing, if you've done nothing wrong, you got nothing to worry about. And it's like yeah. There's a few people in jail who've done nothing wrong and have lots to worry about.
That is true.
Yeah.
I mean, but to some extent, the tracking's already there. We recently had an issue where somebody I was looking after suddenly went missing one morning, and we were very worried about their safety. We felt that they were suicidal, and they'd gone missing. And I rang the police and said, we're really concerned about this person. And they found him 150 miles away within half an hour because he'd driven past the speed camera. And so they tracked him through his number plate. And that was incredibly useful. It saved that man's life at that point. But it also made me think, bloody hell. You know what I mean? They know where I am.
It's hard though. Yeah, no. Look, and
they could track his phone. They also he'd left his phone at home, so they couldn't. But they could get on contact with the mobile companies and track his phone.
I guess the problem is that you're putting some faith into a law enforcement organization at that stage to use it appropriately, whereas an elected government, having worked with numerous elected governments. Yeah, they don't always kind of know what they're actually. It's not necessarily they're nefarious in that they're incompetent.
Yeah, I was going to say never put down to evil what can be. I mean, even Trump's just well, he's nefarious and incompetent, isn't he? Basically, but he's stupid as much as anything, I would argue.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like he's kind of well, that's the thing with like even with, because as I said, on paper it sounds like a really good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Like from an IT solution, it's a very clever idea. Like the idea that I can walk downtown, and if anyone comes within 1.5 meters of me, my phone will register them, and then if they get COVID-19, it will actually automatically update and let me know. But there's also got, say there's some sort of glitch in the system and half the country gets notified that they've been exposed to COVID-19, or people don't get notified. Like it's this safety blanket where we're kind of, people who wear the masks and think that they're invulnerable, just like I've had people wearing the masks, almost brush up against me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, what are you doing? Like the mask doesn't create a bubble around you, you fool.
Mm-hmm. You're right. And also it'll register people through walls, laid in bed, all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I think my internet.
Who knows? But then
I think the government's listening to me because
they're
slowing the thing down.
Yeah, I think this streaming stuff definitely.
I'm nodding politely because I can't
cuts
hear you.
Down the. All right. Okay.
Oh no! Did you hear me then?
Any better now?
Yeah. No, we're back. Maybe
I can hear you perfectly.
Oh really? Okay. Well, I just want to say that I am on board with the Australian government's plan to track everyone on their phone. Please stop throttling my internet.
Yeah.
I'm downloading it right now on my phone. Yep, there it is. Boop, 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 boop.
Well, they'll know though. They'll know, Lee. They'll know.
They won't know. They won't know because they said they're not going to track that data like that.
No, so they won't possibly do that.
I think talking to the guy who's in charge of it, and he said that he doesn't get the information, but then as soon as it's over, he's going to delete it all from his phone, and then he will blow it all away. And it's like, what? So apparently the government doesn't get the information, which is odd. And when they do have the information, they will get rid of it. And I was like, oh well, I'm filled with much confidence. Excellent plan. Why is it all on this minister's phone? Just delete it. Just don't want to know about it. So no, I'm pro it. So stop slowing the internet down. Bloody government.
Well, I was talking to somebody else about this. I was saying that it's incredible. We're incredibly not lucky, but if this had happened even 5 years ago, 10 years ago, we'd have struggled a lot more without the technology we got now. I mean, just to keep ourselves. Yeah.
Do you think now that it's an interesting thing that Netflix is now an essential item?
Well, there's a very strong argument saying internet's an essential utility, not just a luxury, and similar to water and electricity and gas, they shouldn't be able to just cut it off without some significant, hoops to jump through.
And I think it's and I think that's shown the world where we're at, because it's almost put a mirror up against everything and said, oh look, you all didn't think that the internet was that important or that technology has become that entwined in your life. You all think you have a magical thing that, oh, if you took it all away tomorrow, I'd just go walking in the park and I'd be fine and blah blah blah. It's like,
no, we need it.
Your whole kind of everything.
Yeah.
Everything revolves around it, kind of, because it's become an essential, kind of like the same way the telephone became essential, and then now the telephone is not as essential, and the internet has become essential.
Yeah, I think that's right. I need a Wii, so I'm going to go for a Wii.
Well, that sounds like a good place to end it then. So
it does. It's been nice speaking to you, Lee.
I'm going to go get some breakfast.
You go get
some. It's been very good speaking to you. I will. Yes. I think Trace may have even made it.
Oh, they see that's the advantage. That's the advantage.
Yeah, it's cheeky. Yeah, I've locked her out of the bedroom, and so she's,
Yeah.
she's making oatmeal, I think, which is exciting. So I'm excited by this.
Making pumpkin soup. Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it. That's the only thing I eat now.
Thank you very much to everybody on the chat and we're going to go. Bye-bye.